Now, our lead story of the day is with Peter Doocy, the gladiator, going up against Karine Jean-Pierre, the gaslighter. Yeah. We've given her a name. We've coined her a name. She's the gaslighter here. Spread it amongst your friends and family, folks. Let's get this one rolling. And we claimed it here on the Bald Brad Show. So if this gains momentum, just as in some people are actually starting to call Peter Doocy the gladiator, you heard it here first, folks. Okay, you heard it here first. Well, Peter Doocy asks her a question in terms of the fentanyl usage that's being targeted to American children that's coming through ports of entry in the U.S.-Mexico border. And his question is very clear here. He's like simplified it for her so that she can hopefully make sense of it. What is the president going to do about it? Let's see what her response is to all this.
Thanks, Karine. There's a big problem now that rainbow fentanyl, which is designed to target children, has been found in 18 states. What specifically is the president doing about this?
So we just talked about the day, the overdose awareness day that we are observing today. I just laid out what the second gentleman and others are doing within this administration. We are going to continue to focus on the steps that we're taking, that we have taken. You have the $80 million that DHS just announced today on drug prevention, and the president has taken many steps. He's made this a priority to make sure that we attack a very dangerous drugs, serious drugs in this country.
But 300 overdoses a day now. We know how the fentanyl is coming into the country. It's coming right across the southern border. The DEA administrator says so. So when is the president going to do something?
So I will say that you have seen a 200% increase of fentanyl seizures, which means that we are doing the job of catching drug traffickers. 200%. Hold on, 200%.
I just want to pause it here for one moment because, and we'll come back to this, I promise. I think it's important to talk about percentages here in proportion, because just because you have a 200% of something doesn't mean it's actually that big of a deal. And I want to get the numbers here correct for you in terms of what she is talking about. So over 2,100 pounds of drugs, which can be fatal in small doses, were seized in July. Okay. This was up 202% from the 640 pounds seized in June, and also eclipses the 780 pounds seized in July 1st of last year. So, or in the month of July of last year. So we went from basically 780 to 2,100 pounds. Which, yes, is a big jump, but you're basically just going from, in a nutshell, if we were to round 1,000 to 2,000 pounds. And I'm not so sure, I've been trying to research, I'm not so sure if that 2,000 pounds, that gap between basically 1,000 to 2,000 roughly, if we were to do some rounding, if that was just a massive drug bucks that they got lucky on. So whenever you hear somebody talk about 200% or some sort of percentage, you should be wary on terms of what exactly actually they're talking about, numbers based. So I gave you the numbers, 780 to 2,100 is what they're talking about here. In the grand scheme of things, when you're looking at 300 plus million people across the United States, it's really not that much, folks. It really isn't. So they're kind of misleading you with the numbers here.
Increase, just
and
again,
Americans' life
seizures.
expectancies are going down at a rate not seen in a century, and part of that is being driven by drug overdoses. So what is the president going to do?
And we agree. We see those same numbers as well. But the fact that we are securing the border, the fact that
what? It's the morning. Did we just hear that correctly? Did she just say that we're securing the border? I'm going back.
But the fact that we are securing the border.
Folks, she's the gaslighter for a reason. Did I call it? Oh, they really think they're securing the border, folks. They really do. There's over 200,000 people crossing the border each and every month. They've literally already let in millions of people at this point. We are in a lowball number at 22 million illegal immigrants that are sitting in the United States at this present time. Under the Biden administration, so many illegal immigrants have crossed through the U.S.-Mexico border just under their administration timing, 18 plus months here. There is more illegal immigrants in the population of 3 of our states just under the Biden administration. That doesn't even include the gotaways, the ones we don't know about. It's just the gaslighting is just so It's so mind-blowing from this administration.
The fact that we are securing record levels of funding from DHS so they can stop illicit drugs from entering into the country. The fact that it's not just drug traffickers that we're dealing with as well. We're stopping financiers. This is what's happening with this under this administration.
It's not being stopped. 300 overdoses. This is being designed to target children. Drug cartels in Mexico want to kill American kids. What is this president doing about it?
I hear you. I just laid out 200% of increase of drug fentanyl seizures. That is a dangerous drug that we are taking off the street. We are going to continue to focus. This is an important priority for this president. And I just want to talk about how you're saying that they're just the border, right? And how the border, whatever you just stated,
Whatever you just stated. He's stated it, I think we counted 3 times now. What is he going to do about it, Karine? And she still, even though he's repeated a simple question, what is he going to do about it? 9 words. 9 words. She can't grasp that. $180,000 she's getting paid for this. Baffling.
Want to clear this up. Migrants
who coming in, fentanyl's coming in, people are dying.
Oh my God. I love the fact that he just, here's a list of the things that I just said. As if she's an idiot. Just his tone and everything. He's the gladiator for a reason, folks. It's so good. It is so good. I love that man. He's not getting paid enough, folks. Give Peter Doocy some love here in the comments down below. Say how much you love Peter Doocy.
Hold on. So migrants who attempted to enter the country illegally are taken into custody by Border Patrol agents. That is how it works. That is the process that we are taking. They are then either expelled by the court order under Title 42, transferred to ICE custody, or monitored through alternatives to detention program as they await further processing. We have made 3,000.
That's a lie, by the way. They repealed Title 42, and they don't just sit there for processing. They've been flying them under the dark of the night all across the United States. They've literally let in over 1.7 million illegal immigrants. There's over 1 million gotaways. Totally lying here. Blatantly lying. She's about to talk about 3,000 arrests in the span of a few months. 3,000, you guys. When over the span of a few months here, she's going to talk about it in just one moment. And I want you to catch the lie here, because they're getting anywhere from 6,000 to 15,000 people a day. And she's talking about 3,000 arrests? You have over 200,000 easily a month. And you're talking about 3,000 over the course of many months. So if you had 600,000 illegal immigrants apprehended at the U.S.-Mexico border, 600,000, doesn't include the gotaways, the people that just made it past Border Patrol. So you're talking about probably close to 800,000 people, in the span of 3 months. She's talking about 3,000 arrests.
Arrest in the first 3 months of launching an aggressive campaign to combat the multi-billion-dollar human smuggling industry. When it comes to what's happening with drug overdose, this is something that the president cares about. This is something that the president has laid out a plan to make sure that our kids, our babies, our young Americans here in this country are not continuing to suffer from that, or not continuing to be given or access to drugs. This is something that's incredibly important to this president. So to say that we're not doing enough, Peter, is just falsely, categorically wrong, especially on a day that we are observing what needs to be done. And we have announced, DHS has announced $80 million to prevent that. So we are doing the work. And here's the thing, Peter, if Republicans want to help us stop overdose and stop our kids getting overdosed because of these dangerous drugs, because of these fentanyl that we're seeing in the streets, we're happy to work with them. But they're not. I'm moving on. I'm moving on.
What? Republicans don't want to work with us? Folks, anytime you see the Biden administration say they're throwing money at something to fix a problem, it's not going to get fixed. So she's boasting, we're throwing $80 million. Or you could just finish building the border wall. Or you could sit there and put more Border Patrol agents at the U.S.-Mexico border to stop it from coming in. If you want to talk about increase in seizures in terms of getting that fentanyl at the border rather than letting it in and having our children digest it and eat it and ultimately freaking overdose over it. I'm sure all of you are just as frustrated as I am with it. We're never going to get any answers at all. It's going to be gaslighting. You might be asking, then why cover it, Brad? Why talk about it? The reason why I think it's important to talk about is because people need to be exposed to this type of stuff and actually see, and hopefully we can red pill them and wake them up to the Biden administration lying to us every day. Literally lying to us. When we get to a Republican administration, I will call it the lies as well. I think that's only fair, us to be consistent. Regardless if it's Trump or DeSantis, I think it's only right that we spotlight the mistakes from these politicians and the things that they're saying so that we don't get bamboozled into voting for something that we shouldn't be voting for, and just the pure corruption that happens within our government. I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Bald Brad Show. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all our future content.